So by law, when you have a hyphenated name, you need to use it on all formal documents. You know, whether you just decide to use that name or whatever. But not only does he not use his hyphenated name, he will lie and say he does not have a hyphenated name because he does not want a legal divorce. And he will file it on 10/6/2015 for divorce in his non-legal name. This surrounds my mother's death, right? This is an orchestrated estate robbery, trust fund robbery, transfer of wealth from a 65-year-old senior citizen woman, which they intended to abduct this last year. Okay, so it all comes from her obituary, right? Okay. And they name me wrong in here. She was preceded in death by her parents and sister, LaVon Nelson. She is survived by her husband, Jay Gage, son, John Elgie, Angela, son, George Elgie, Myrna, daughter, Kim Alfonsi, not my legal name, right? But that's part of the estate robbery. And sister, Sharon White, and 5 grandchildren. Shall we name them all? Because they all know about it. And 7 great-grandchildren and 2 great-grandchildren, okay? A memorial service will be held at 10 a.m. on Thursday, July 2nd, 2015 at Green Valley Mortuary. Okay, there we go. So, they falsify my identity in this obituary, which sets off an S-storm, a fraud for me and my special needs son. Now, you got to think. They know we're getting a divorce in Alaska. My attorney, Ken Goldman, asked me if he can look into my mother's probate case for me. That's his go card to steal my trust fund. And he knows, as an attorney, they're not putting in my legal name. Right, kitty? So anyway, that's what they do. So Kevin goes, and he's hiding his legal name all through court because he doesn't want a legal divorce. He wants his wife's entire estate, her half of the 302 operating engineer pension, and most of all, her trust fund, which he's sharing with crooked ass attorneys, right? All happening in LA. This is a premeditated kidnapping and murder of a senior citizen woman named Kim Elgie, right? Okay, that's what this is. This case is still open. They still plan on doing their abduction. It may say closed up here. It does, actually. It isn't closed. They're ready to serve writs and do their abduction still of me. Go to that case and look what's last filed. Now, Kevin has hidden his legal name all through court, and I start contesting it when I find out, when Vital Records tells me. But they'll just deny it's his legal name. They'll deny it. Now, this year, an officer verifies that when he stops the writs they're serving on me. I say he's hiding his legal name and his California jurisdiction. Writs get stopped at that time. It's Alaska, after all, and he does have a boss, and his boss is going to tell him, you ignore that old lady. There's a wealth transfer going on here. Okay, so good afternoon, Kim. Okay, I was asked to assist. I'm sending him proof, evidence of a trust fund robbery. I have no idea. Well, I can't comprehend. I cannot conceive they're actually going to abduct me from the home and kill me. I can't conceive it, right? Because I don't know. I'm living in the land of 666. Okay, and this was on June 4th, 2025. Okay, and this officer has taken over for the other one I've reported to, and he's going to write me a letter as a detective. So you know he's a detective. He knows what the hell he's talking about as far as Kevin's legal name, because you know he's looked at him in the computer. Good afternoon, Kim. I was asked to assist Officer Gebert with the going through all the documentation you have provided. I have gone through all of the documents carefully. I have not identified anything that would be able to be charged under Alaska statutes, false impersonation. I understand there are many discrepancies in which name he has used on multiple documents, but with his hyphenated name. Is there a hyphenated name over here? No. But with his hyphenated name and his using one of his names, none of those would meet the criminal level. They would if you're going to put it on a stolen trust fund, and that's what he did. I know there are a lot of other items you point out in the documentation, and I have looked at them all. Unfortunately, we will be unable to assist with any criminal investigation in this situation. I'm sure you have been told not to. I do encourage you to get a trusted lawyer. A lawyer stole my trust fund. I've told him a lawyer stole my trust fund. How does one go about finding a trusted lawyer when you've got several stealing a trust fund? I do encourage you to get a trusted lawyer and have them assist with the civil side for all the monetary loss it's stolen you have incurred. I am sorry. I'm sure this is not what you wanted to receive, and I wish you the best of luck in your pursuit of a fair outcome. So for years, I've had this trust fund stolen from me with crooks, fraudulent attorneys in court, right? And they help my ex steal the trust fund. They will all split together. Is he paid off from it? I have no idea. So anyway, but I know a lot of other people are, and he can see the loss. And he says he can see the loss, but he's not going to do anything criminal about it. Yeah, and I have no idea. They're going to abduct me and kidnap me, right? So anyway, he just validated he has a hyphenated name, Kevin Alfonsi Algie, and he can switch his names out. Not on formal documents, you can't. So we know what? There's no record found of a divorce, as they all intended from day one when he filed suit in his non-legal name. We know at Alaska Court View, there's no reflection a legal divorce ever happened between Kevin Alfonsi Algie and Kim Algie as they intended day one when he filed suit. Because he's still in my trust fund, my half of the 302 pension, my home, my land, my cars, everything. Because I'm in an estate robbery and I'm 65. It's time to eliminate this old girl, right? So that's what they're doing, okay? So we know that. Now, that's why in my mother's obituary, they named me wrong. Because my mother called me Kim Algie Alfonsi, that's the name in the will. They'll get false identification for me in the name Kim Algie Alfonsi. They'll steal the trust fund. Now they've got to eliminate me. That's why they purposely named me wrong in here. Now, I'm Facebook friends at the time with my nieces, right? Yeah. Yep, I am. So, I'm estranged from the most of the family, but not from them. But I am now. I'm estranged from everybody now, knowing their agenda, right? So, I tell his attorney, I know his name's Kevin Alfonsi Algie. Wasilla Police Department just verified. He does. She says, no, it's not. I said, yes, it is. And she says, okay, I'm going to send you exhibits proving his name. Okay. So she sends me exhibit 1. This is in 2021, when they take me back to court after it's gone through the Supreme Court. Because they're doing a whole estate robbery. They don't care if this case has gone through the Supreme Court already or not. And you will find it in CaseMine. CaseMine has all lawsuit cases, and you'll see a Supreme Court case with Kevin Alfonsi versus Kim Algie in it. That was supposed to be it, the Supreme Court case. But they're doing a whole estate and identity fraud robbery, and they were going to, you know, do that. So they're hell-bent on taking me back to court. So even though the case went through the Supreme Court, they take me back to court, and I'm telling her, I know his name's Kevin Alfonsi Algie. I know it is. I've seen it on documents. And she says, nope, document showing Kevin's legal name. So she sends me an old passport with just his name, Kevin Alfonsi, on it. What'd the police say? He's got a hyphenated name. What she just got done doing, she lied to me about it. And then she sends me a bunch of tax returns and court documents with his name on it, Kevin Alfonsi. Whatever. It's like, okay. But so she's lied about his legal name, right? An attorney on that date. Why is she lying about his legal name? Why? Okay. Why? Because they're all robbing a trust fund. Okay. And they do it at the very beginning of divorce. So he's filed suit in his non-legal name on this date. Him and my attorney show up at probate court and with false identity for me and my attorney. That's why my attorney let him file suit in his non-legal name. Yeah, my attorney, right? And there is no divorce paper served. You can go to this court case and look for him. You will not see divorce papers ever served. So they plan on stealing a trust fund together, my attorney and him, and they do it right off the bat, right? I get led to this document. So she says in here, I have you on my calendar for a trust payment. He's my trustee now. I have no idea. Of $500 on the 15th day of the month. If you would like to run those payments automatically, we know they're going to be run automatically. I can take a card number and do that. So we know they've got a card for the trust fund. That's a very bad thing. You can call me directly if you would like. Okay. And she doesn't work every day. They're making their first trust payment because they just acquired it at my mom's probate case with false identification for me. Wasilla Police, say what? His name's Kevin Alfonsi Elgie, and that's the name that should have been on this damn lawsuit, right? So they dragged me through 10 years of fraudulent court, right, with a man using fraudulent identification. This is a bigger picture of his passport. It's not marked up, okay? Okay. So, as the officer says, he switches his names out. Okay, and they produce me a decree in what name? A non-legal name. So that's what they do. And I call him on it. I say, that's not your legal name. And they say, yeah, it is. And I said, no, it's not. And so anyway, that's my legal name. It's not Kim Alfonsi shown in that obituary. And I had a legal name change a long time ago. Now, clear into 2021, Kevin is using this name. They've hidden all the way through court, verified by Wasilla police officers, right? And he will deny he has used that name, right? He will deny it. And he even gets a promissory note at Matt Valley Federal Credit Union in that name, and I know trust fund money has passed right through that credit union in a non-legal name for me, calling me Kim Elgie Alfonsi and showing I have a conservatorship and guardianship account. Previously to that, they were just falsifying my name. So we know Kevin got a promissory note, and he signs it as Kevin Alfonsi Elgie, a name he denies he has. And he does this right before he files for divorce. Okay? And yeah, it's psychological torture, but I was tortured as a child. Anyway, here we go. A certificate of change of name. This is my name, Kim Elgie. I've only had one name. You'll go to the Alaska court system and you'll look up any name changes for me. You're not going to see it. And you saw my driver's license with Kim Elgie on it. So in June of 2099, I get my certificate of change of name. So a judgment was entered by this court on May 20th, 1999, authoring Kim Lorraine Owens to assume the legal name of Kim Lorraine Elgie. Okay, and that happened in 1999. I've been Kim Elgie ever since that date. Everybody knows it in that family. One of my cousins, Terry McCard, will not recognize the Kim Elgie Owens, and she will only address me as Kim Elgie in her Ancestry.com. Okay, so what we have here is Kevin flat out lying that he has never used the name Kevin Alfonsi Elgie. Now, I go to Vital Records. They tell me his name's Kevin Alfonsi Elgie. I need to get a divorce decree in that name, and he refuses to let me do it. So he does plaintiff's opposition to the defendant's motion for a legal divorce decree with the trial courts and recording at Vital Statistics, and cross motion for request for document preparation fees reimbursement. So come now, plaintiff Kevin Alfonsi, pro se herein, with files with this court opposition to the defendant's motion for a legal divorce decree with the trial courts and recording at Vital Statistics, cross motion for reimbursement of document preparation for having to use time and money to file an opposition to such a ridiculous motion, and states as follows: this motion is ridiculous at best and a waste of my time and resources for having to file an opposition. Therefore, and with this opposition, I requested the court and document preparation fees be reimbursed for me having to file and respond to such a false motion. I feel for the I assume being filed for the mere fact of something to file for. The parties, when they were married, defendant stated that she did not want to take the name of Alfonsi and was adamant that the plaintiff try her name. The plaintiff at the time tried using her name as his last name only through DMV for his driver's license. I have never changed my name legally. This was done to appease the defendant at the time. I request for order changing my name to Alfonsi was for DMV purposes only, as they would not change it to my legal name, Alfonsi, without a court order, since it was changed at DMV with the marriage license. Therefore, the request to modify the decree was done so that plaintiff could have a new license issued without the name LG, and I am sure that the defendant can obtain a certified copy of the clerk court through the clerk's office at the Palmer Court. The plaintiff did not use this name ever on credit cards or other legal documents, and are all signed in the name of Alfonsi and was hyphenated at that time so that I could in fact sign as Alfonsi. The defendant does not apparently understand that it is not an intentional reason or ploy of her past attorney and I to deceive her. In fact, her filings have been so false and such lies that we are now at this time, I believe the defendant shall be ordered to take a psychological evaluation as her accusations are becoming that of an insane schizophrenic individual. And that's what I believe they deem me as having when they falsify a second probate action. The plaintiff has never, ever filed with Vital Statistics to legally change his name. Therefore, there would be no record found with me using that name. The defendant should know this, as it was a huge contention of her that she not use my name, although she later did. I never did. As we saw, I've been Kim LG since that date. So we know they showed up at my mom's probate court case. That's why my name is Kim Alfonsi in that obituary, because they changed my name. It is because of these frivolous filings and the accusations in these filings that I request and in my cross motion be reimbursed the 1.5 hours paid for help with the document preparation. On this motion by 411 paralegal operatives totaling amount of $180. Attached to the opposition is an invoice showing the court that is what the cost of this document was. The license change was for a very short period of time and it was not ever legally changed, not through Social Security or through Vital Statistics. The defendant states in her motion that the attorney of hers and her divorce and myself have co-inspired to hide assets and secretly steal from her behind her back. This could not be any more false. If the attorney and I were hiding assets from her, I would not have lost everything I had and could have by her malicious acts of destroying the company of Birch Syrup. They hide that business is still in operation. Her lies to the court on falsely granted DVs against me claiming some abuse years ago did not occur. If I were scheming with her attorney, whom is known as the best law attorney in Alaska, I would not have financial duress and status, and I would have received much more in the divorce. I believe the defendant is filing motions just to harass myself and cannot seem to get past the divorce and grow up for the sake of our son, let alone stop harassing me. Dated this 15th day of July 2019, signature of plaintiff Kevin Alfonsi. Well, we know that's a lie, because what did they say? They said that the police officer clear into 2025, that's his legal name, and back in 2021 it was his legal name at the bank, and he's hidden it all the way through court, and they falsified my identification, hiding this is my legal name and I live in Alaska, right? So that's what they did. Okay, so then now, oh, and he does an affidavit in support of that. He does an order in support of that, and the judge denies me to get a legal divorce decree in his legal name at the time of divorce, right? That's his affidavit right there. So he's committing perjury in a false identity, saying he's never used that name on anything legal, right? That's what he's doing, right? So that's what he's doing. Okay, him and my attorney conspire together. So then my attorney sues me, and he can't tell me I'm your trustee. So he has to sue me for his legal fees for me and Kevin's fake divorce. So he does. And what do I not know what he's doing after the case gets closed and he wins it? I don't know. He's going to go in right behind me, and he's going to start doing trust writs of execution and trust writs of garnishment to my trust fund that they've stolen and hidden from me. Okay? Okay. So anyway, then they go to a second probate action later on, and they're going to deem me mentally incompetent. I find this, now remember, when did my mom die? My mom died on June 23rd, 2015. So why does she have a death certificate in 2021? Why? Right? I find this in the Arizona system. It's like at the Department of Natural Resources or at that, that's where I find it, right? And I find this online, and I'm thinking, who the hell is, my mom died in 2015. Why does she have a death certificate? And this is a fake one. This isn't even an Arizona one. It doesn't give a state. It doesn't, it's Alaska, it should say Alaska. It doesn't give a state or anything. It's just got a false death certificate for my mother, right? Because they're doing a second probate action to deem me mentally incompetent so they can have full control of that trust, right? Before they dispose of me, show up at my house and dispose of me. So that's what they did. And this is what I find in the Arizona system. I get guided to everything. So for whatever reason, on 8/10/2021, they get a death certificate for my mother, and they go to and have a false probate action. Now the trust fund is going to be handed off to Turnagain Law. That's where it's going next, right? So yeah, Kevin does the opposition, everything, denying his legal name is his legal name. The whole thing. They acquire a phony death certificate and have a phony probate action for me, and will deem me mentally incompetent, right? So, and then once more, what happens this year, right? That's who I am. That's not the name they have me and my family put for me in that obituary. No, it's not. I don't want to get led to your crap. He's going to come after you. You have no idea that we have spiritual gifts. He doesn't like it. Do not touch my anointed. You did. And you didn't, you tortured the hell out of me. You didn't just touch me. So I'll tell you, there's all kinds of hell coming for you. And it's of a spiritual nature. You won't be able to do crap about it. Okay, so anyway, June 4th, if you killed me, I get to fly around. I get to fly around the universe. I used to have a good time. So while you spend your last few days on earth before you go straight to hell. So good afternoon, Kim. I was asked to assist Officer Gebert with going through all the documentation you have provided. I have gone through all of the documents carefully. I have not identified anything that would be able to be charged under Alaska statutes. There's so many things that could be charged under Alaska statutes. I understand there are many discrepancies in which name he has used on multiple documents, but with his hyphenated name and his using one of his names, none of those would meet the criminal level. I know there are a lot of other items you point out in the documentation, and I have looked at them all. Unfortunately, we'll be able to assist you with any criminal investigation in this situation. I do encourage you to get a trusted lawyer. Lawyers stole it. Lawyers know about it. And we're talking more than 5, 6, 7, 8. Shall I keep on counting? Okay, yeah, God had me fight a whole friggin' slew of them. I do encourage you to get a trusted lawyer and have them assist with any of the civil side for all the monetary loss you have incurred. Yeah, they're going to have a bunch of crap coming to them. I mean, it's not anything you can earthly do about it. I am sorry. I'm sure this is not what you wanted to receive, and I wish you the best of luck in your pursuit of a fairy. This is all testing. This is all God's testing. Earth angels are walking frigging karma. So what do you think happens? Oh, all kinds of crap happen. Oh, yeah. And then maybe, just drawn out for years and years and years, but it gets paid back. Yeah, that's what happens. Okay, so anyway, we know the police officer validated that he has hid his legal name all the way through court, and that's why my mother's obituary has me listed wrong, because he's going to falsify his identification and he's going to falsify my identification, and they're going right into this case with my brothers, and other family know about it too, because don't you think they ain't getting paid off? Oh, assuming false identification for me. Yeah. All kinds of hell's coming your way. You just have no idea. You don't know how that other world works, do you? But you will. You will find out how it works. So anyway, that's what happens. And what was I looking at here? What is this that you want me to see? Oh, yeah, for kidnapping. Yeah, there's no statute of limitations, for kidnapping. And of course, there's not for murder. And that's exactly why he filed suit in his non-legal name, hiding his California jurisdiction, because they planned on kidnapping my ass and making me disappear. So the name in that obituary, and my mom called me Kim Alfonsi. That's what's in the will. They shortened it to Kim Alfonsi in that obituary. And they're all so intelligent because Delphine had a retarded child, you see. I am that retarded child, yeah. So anyway, just because mommy, who was jealous of baby, says her daughter is retarded, and my brother called me a spaz retard, doesn't mean anything. And they would go, the one I felt sorry for him because he felt like he always had to prove himself to my mother, and I never felt like that. I knew I was smart, and I knew they were lying about my intelligence. And now they know I was being lied about my intelligence. And the spiritual gifts, they never knew anything about. Yeah, I could read their energy since I was born, and I did not like what I was reading.